This is John for Global Woman Sports Radio. Today, I have the pleasure of being on the beat with Carrie Walters, owner of the Las Vegas Silver Stars of the Women's National Football Conference. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I am great. I love talking football.
Me too.
give us just a brief, what type of football do the Las Vegas Silver Stars play?
We run a spread type offense. We don't often pound the ball, but if we have to, we will. We have a lot of speed, so we run a lot of outside and off tackle. But generally, we're just hard nosed. We try to stay super tight to technique, and everyone has their assignment, so we emphasize assignment, alignment, and ball out.
And it's full. It's 11-on-11, full uniforms, full field,
full contact. Yep, full contact. We play NC2A rules with maybe one or two modifications. We obviously use a little bit smaller ball. But other than that, everything else is just your typical football.
Now, you're not the typical owner. You actually have a very successful background playing football.
Correct.
How did you get to the path of becoming an owner of a team?
Honestly, I think I drew the short stick amongst my friends. So, I started playing in 2006 with an organization here in Vegas called the Las Vegas Showgirls. The team was super successful. The owner disbanded it. He had other things he needed to go do. So probably about 2015, there was another women's team in Las Vegas. I didn't really play for them, but then I had a couple of the original Showgirls reach out to me and they were like, hey, let's just put an independent team together. We can be the scrimmages for some of the bigger teams. And so in 2018, I literally just said, heck yeah, let's get our old pads on and let's do it. So we only played 3 games that season. We went 2-1, and the only team we lost to was Utah. Obviously they're a tough team. I think we traveled maybe 18 or 19 girls. It was definitely Ironman football. And then the WNFC, I guess, caught wind that we had a team in Vegas, and they said, hey, we're looking for a middle ground and Vegas is it. And we want you to be a part of our league. And I honestly thought they were kidding. So I just said, are you sure you're talking about us? And they were like, yes. So that's kind of how the story happened. And then I just happened to be the one that was a little bit older, a little bit seems less wise at this point, but I was the one that shouldered that burden, and I don't regret it. I'm having a great time. I still play occasionally. This is the first season that I haven't suited up for every game. But yeah, I love football. I fell in love with it at an older age. I played other sports when I was younger, but because football wasn't available. But I'm loving the fact that we're setting kind of the standard for the younger women that you can play flag, you can play tackle, the opportunities are there. So,
and with no disrespect to Coach Dion, is there any reason why you're not coaching the team?
Honestly, it's because I don't know that I have confidence in myself yet. So the things that I like when he and I co-coach, or when he's the head coach, I'm in his ear the whole time, and he just laughs because he's like, why don't you just do this? But I honestly, this season I begged him to come back for one more season just to make sure that I do fully grasp the head coach perspective. So he's just kind of mentoring me in that regard, and then that way I can blame him when something goes wrong.
Very smart woman. So is coaching in your future then?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I would love to, coach this women's team till the wheels fall off, and, maybe even other opportunities. I know that the NFL does internships. So, and the WNFC is really proactive about, kind of pointing us in the right direction to kind of get your foot in the door. I have a ton of football knowledge. I'm pretty smart when it comes to that. And I love the game. I love the concepts. I love the technique. So yeah, I would love to definitely coach. I coached a little bit with Coach Lee for high school. I really enjoyed the younger guys. I coached the freshmen and the varsity wide receivers. So I really, really enjoy it. I love giving back. I love the moment when players go, oh, and the game kind of slows down for them. So
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said that's my favorite piece is when the game slows down.
No, I followed women's football. I followed the Chicago Bliss way back to like 2013, I think was my first season covering them. I followed other Chicago teams, football teams, women football teams. What do you think? How do you think they can get more exposure? Because I mean, I love it, and everybody I brought to any of the games loved it, but it's not exposed enough. There's not enough coverage of it. How do you think could that slowly start to become?
I think social media has really helped us over the last, 2 or 3 years. Like I said, the concepts for advancing women's football have been there since 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just think with the advent of and the openness of social media, it's really helped kind of get the word out there. Back 15 years ago, we would be lucky if we would have 30 players on our roster, and it was all word of mouth. A friend of a friend heard that someone played football and they came out. And now it's, this year, at least for our team specifically, we're carrying 56 players, which is unheard of for here in Las Vegas, but they all heard about it through social media, through events, through posts and shares and likes. And unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword because I don't want to have to be so worried about content, but at the same time, content is what lets people know, like, hey, there's women's tackle football. I think the WNFC's done an amazing job with, opening some of those doors just generally for women's football across the, globe and across just the platform. So I think that has helped as well. And I agree with you. A lot of women and men both are a little bit skeptical, oh, women can't play football, but getting them to a game has always been the challenge. Once they come to a game, they recognize, oh, it really is, it's a pretty great time. And that's kind of where the Vire Network has kind of helped us, because with them, you can be in Pocatello, Idaho, where there's not a team, and you can still, be like, hey, there's women's tackle football on right now. So I think for us, it's just pushing and pushing and pushing, not letting off the accelerator, because, there is no better time in the history of women's sports than to be a woman in sports than right now. So, we just need to make sure that we move as a collective group, because there are power in numbers. And so, each one bring one. That's what we tell our players, like, each one bring one, and then suddenly there'll be 100 people, and then each one bring one, and there are 200 people. And so that's kind of the WNFC's, also reinforces that, like, move as a group. We have more draw and more power that way.
Who do you view as your average fan? Do you think it's more male, more female, more young women athletes?
I think right now, when I look in the stands, it's more generally middle-aged women, somewhere between the age of 30 and 45, wondering, could I be doing that? That looks like a lot of fun. And then I think, that's been kind of historic. Lately, I think it's been a lot of flag younger women players. We have currently maybe 5 or 6 moms that have reached out to us for their younger 13, 14-year-olds who play flag, who look up to the players who really want to either play flag or tackle in their future. So I think that's now now with the increase in visibility of women's flag, it being a college sport now, I think that population is now going to be a bigger draw, for us watching it, and then also live at the games.
Do you view Las Vegas as a challenge in terms of distractions to the players, or other things for people to do?
I think for the players, not so much. When you live here, I was born and raised here. I can't tell you the last time I've been down to the Strip unless it was for like a Knights game or some type of game or concert. So the distractions, I think, are similar in any city. You can get yourself in trouble if you want to, even in the most desolate of towns. I think the struggle is the 24-hour nature of Las Vegas for the players, because we're not a 9-to-5 town. We're a 24/7. So I have players that work graveyard, get off, sleep for 3 hours, come to practice, go home, sleep for 3 more, and go back to work. So I think that becomes a little bit of a trick. And then, Saturday nights here in Vegas, there are 4,622 things to do. And, we're telling them, hey, come to this football game. So I think that's a little bit of a challenge. Sports in Las Vegas, because we're such a transient town, we have transplants and oh, I'm a Chicago fan. Oh, I'm a San Diego fan. Oh, I'm an Indianapolis fan. So to get people to come to any game for that matter is a little bit tricky. So we've just really been, trying to rely on, like I said, family, friends, tell your family, hey, tell your aunt to bring her friend, tell your dad to bring his business associate, stuff like that. But yeah, I think for us, the distraction is more just the fact that our schedules are so difficult to get a practice where there are 45 players, because half of them work during the week, half of them work at night, half of them work in the morning. So that's been a kind of a challenge for us.
Well, you brought up schedules and practice. So that's a question. I kind of know the answer, but I love hearing you guys say the reason. I used to go to all the Bliss practices back in the day, and I'd see these women practice 2-3 times a week, and I'd see them practice 6 months out of the year to play 4 games, sometimes even 3 games. Now, I know you guys play a few more. I think you play 6.
Correct.
So why do you guys practice all that time? How do you get women to practice all that time just to play 6 games?
So I think the unique piece for women is that, we didn't grow up playing football. So everything is new. Every rule is new. Every situation is new. Every time the tackle lines up in a 1-tech or 3-tech, that's new. So for us, for me personally, the way that I, because you're right, the Las Vegas Silver Stars have literally been practicing. We only took maybe 2 months off. We've been practicing since October, November of last year, regularly. And so how you keep them motivated is you just make practices interesting. You answer their whys, because again, you have to teach women's football to rookies the way that you would teach Pop Warner, but in a way that is verbally made for an adult, right? So I can't speak to them like they're 7 years old or 8 years old, but the concepts I'm teaching them have to be similar in the beginning. So I think for women, they're like sponges. If they want to play football, it's really a draw. Like the people that come out are like, I've wanted to play. I never knew it was, available. So they want to know every rule. They want to know every situation. So that's why we do it. We do it because, we don't have a foundation built from, playing through middle school, high school. We don't have that knowledge base. We don't have those motor memories made. So that's what we work on, October, November, December, and then, January, February, we're like, all right, let's install some offense now because, it's getting close to the season. So, yeah.
But and it was funny. I read a quote from yours, and I'm going to paraphrase. I saw it on social media. You said, I love playing football, even if it meant playing in my undies years ago. Now, as you know, as I said, I've covered the LFL, and I've heard all the people say their things about the women playing in underwear, women who play bikini. You guys played, that was football. I saw
right.
The plays.
No, I agree. It was legit. The only thing that I didn't appreciate about it was the running clock. That's pretty much it. The game was over, and it was like the equivalent of like a regular tackle quarter. So
I agree completely. I agree. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more games. I wanted to see longer games or more plays of games. But play for play, the actual play. I've seen the WNFC on Fire. I've seen that, and I prefer that because it's 11 on 11, it's pads and all that. But I mean, both of them are real football and real athletes. And hats off to any of the women that have played there. I've interviewed a ton of them, and I have nothing but respect for all of them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I played for the Las Vegas Sin, those were some of the most athletic and talented women I have ever played with. And like I said, I've been playing sports my entire life. By far, those collective 14 were probably pound for pound the most athletic and most physical humans that I've ever been fortunate enough to play with. Again, across all of my tackle career, they were amazing athletes. So yeah, it's legit.
No, I talked to Odessa about a week or two ago, and I said my only complaint about your league is there's no team in Chicago. So she suggested I follow Kansas City, but I mean, after talking to you, I think I have to go for the Silver Stars.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends out there. I swear to you, I have friends out there, And they were actually talking to me today about potentially going out there to see a game. I don't know if it's going to happen. I would love to. So it's potential that I'll be out there. I would love to see it.
Yeah, we would love to have you. We would love to have you. We're a humble team. My first season in the WNFC, 5 days before our first game, I lost my mom.
Oh.
So our first season was pretty rough. We went 0-6. I was super appreciative of the players because they could have very well said, "Oh, heck no, this is not for me." But we pulled up our bootstraps. We started all over. And then, last year we went 4-2, made it to the playoffs. We were the 2021 WNFC Team of the Year. So we really we're just that battling kind of scrappy kind of team, and you never know week to week what you're gonna get. So we're happy to have new fans. So welcome.
Hey, I'm trying to send as many as I can because, again, like I said, everybody I've brought to a Bliss game, or there's some Chicago football women. Police women, I think, that were playing. I get them confused over the years because any football I'll go see. And everybody I brought to any of the games absolutely loved it. So before I let you go, tell everybody where they can get more information about the Las Vegas Silver Stars.
You can follow us on our social media page. We're at Las Vegas Silver Stars Football on Instagram. We have a Las Vegas Silver Stars Football Facebook. We're also at lvsilverstars.com. We have our website there. All of our games are aired on Vire Network. We're appreciative for Vire for giving us that opportunity. We're around Las Vegas Silver Stars.
Well, I encourage everyone to check it out because it's awesome football. And again, my hat is off to you women. It's as tough and rugged, and you guys are as elite athletes as anybody out there in the field. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you talking to us about football, and I'll probably bug you again later in the season to see how things are going.
Heck yeah, I'd welcome it. And I appreciate your time today as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carrie. You have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.